In Chapter 1, Harry Dresden meets Billy the werewolf in Lake Meadow Park to investigate a bizarre rain of toads. Though Billy suspects a magical prank, Harry fears it signals a serious disruption in reality. Billy warns Harry that the Red Court vampires are targeting him and that the White Council is arriving in Chicago soon to address the war. Their tense conversation is cut short when gunmen in a pickup attack. Harry deflects the bullets with his shield bracelet and drives off the attackers, with Billy transforming into a wolf to fight a disguised ghoul assassin. After the attackers flee, Harry confirms the toads are real, meaning the threat is serious. As they leave, a violent downpour of toads triggers magical disorientation in Harry, reinforcing his fears. With the White Council coming, assassins after him, and a client waiting, Harry realizes the vampire war is escalating, and his enemies are growing bolder. In Chapter 2, Harry drops Billy off and reflects on his deteriorating appearance and mental state, realizing his obsessive search for a cure for Susan has consumed him. Susan, infected by the Red Court, left town months ago, and Harry's been isolating himself, desperate to find a way to save her. Broke and on the edge of eviction, Harry heads to his office for a client meeting. There he meets Miss Somerset, a stunning woman who insists on hiring him. Suspicious, Harry tests her with iron, revealing she's a Shi'i. She unmasks herself as Mab, Queen of the Winter Court, claiming she bought Harry's debt from his godmother Leah, making Harry bound to her service. To prove her control, she forces him to stab his own hand. Mab declares Harry will act as her emissary to recover something stolen, revealing that Harry can't escape his Faerie debt, and his troubles have just begun. In Chapter 3, Harry faces Mab, the Queen of the Winter Court, in his office. She confirms she now holds the debt Harry owed to his godmother and offers him a bargain. Complete 3 tasks of his choosing, and she will release him from all obligations. After negotiating strict terms, no punishments for refusal and no proxy harassment, Harry agrees, sensing no deception in her words. Mab immediately presents the first task: investigate the suspicious death of artist Ronald Rule and recover something stolen from him. Though Harry doesn't officially accept, Mab is confident he will. Before leaving, Mab spitefully freezes Harry's wounded hand and warns him he'll meet Summer's emissary soon. Her parting words imply that Harry's nature will compel him to take the case. Realizing he may have traded one trap for another, Harry is left unsettled, knowing his involvement with the Faerie courts has just begun. In Chapter 4, Harry reflects on his fear after agreeing to Mab's bargain. He suspects taking her case will entangle him deeper in Faerie politics. With little time before the White Council meeting, he rushes through errands and meets his old mentor, Ebenezer McCoy, in a parking garage. Ebenezer warns Harry the senior council wants to meet him privately, fearing the Merlin and Wardens might push for his execution over the Red Court War. Martha Liberty and Listens to Wind, Injun Joe, 2 senior council members, appear. Martha criticizes Harry, but ultimately agrees to support him. The mood shifts when they reveal that Simon Pietrovich, the council's vampire expert, was killed in a suspected betrayal, removing a critical ally from Harry's defense. With Simon gone, the Merlin now has the votes to move against Harry. Faced with council politics and growing enemies, Harry realizes his situation is worse than he feared. In Chapter 5, the White Council convenes to discuss the escalating war with the Red Court. Ebenezer, backed by Martha Liberty and Injun Joe, successfully blocks the Merlin's attempt to install his favored candidate on the senior council by having himself nominated and confirmed instead. During the meeting, Morgan presents a grim tactical overview. Red Court attacks are widespread, their power growing, and they've somehow bypassed Simon Pietrovich's defenses before killing him. The council debates seeking alliances with the Faerie courts. Summer refuses involvement, while Winter remains silent. Martha urges war. The Merlin prefers diplomacy. Then Lafortier presents a peace offer from Duke Ortega of the Red Court, claiming they seek justice. When Dresden speaks up, revealing he was attacked by Red Court operatives that same morning, Lafortier dismisses it and declares the vampires only want Dresden as the price for peace. The council now faces a choice between war or sacrificing Harry. In Chapter 6, the White Council debates the Red Court's demand to hand over Harry Dresden in exchange for peace. The hall erupts in outrage, with Lafortier accusing Harry of recklessness and even implying he betrayed senior council member Simon Pietrovich. Lafortier calls for a vote to strip Harry of his wizard status, which would make him a criminal and justify his surrender. Ebenezer invokes council law, limiting the vote to senior council members.